October 25, 1936, Rome, cold wind crawled through the marble corridors of Palazzo Venezia as Benito Mussolini leaned over a map of Europe, his fingers trembling with ambition. Outside, crowds chanted for empire. Inside, a messenger rushed in, pale, breathless, carrying a single coded telegram from Berlin. Mussolini cracked the seal, and in that moment, history shifted. Germany had agreed to an alliance. A new power bloc was forming in the shadows of the old world, and the dictator whispered the words that would terrify the planet. The world will soon revolve around the Rome-Berlin axis. He believed Europe would tilt. He believed global power would rotate toward him. And for a few dark years, the world feared he might be right. The 1930s were a decade of fear, frustration, and fractured power. The Great Depression had crushed economies. Millions were jobless, governments fell, extremism rose, but two nations still towered above almost everyone else, Britain and France. Together, they controlled more than a third of Earth's land, ruled hundreds of millions of people, commanded vast navies, and carried enormous weight in the League of Nations, the only global organization designed to keep peace. From trade routes to military plans, from political negotiations to colonies across Africa, Asia, and the Middle East, the world revolved around London and Paris, and that dominance infuriated other nations, especially two, Germany, burning with anger after the humiliation of World War I, and Italy, dreaming of rebuilding the lost glory of the Roman Empire. Both believed they deserved more. Both wanted to rewrite the world order, and both were preparing for war. Germany in the early 1930s was a wounded giant. The Treaty of Versailles had crushed its pride, stripped territory, and strangled its military. Unemployment soared, hunger spread, and resentment simmered. When Hitler rose to power in 1933, he promised revenge against the treaty, revenge against the old powers, revenge against the nations that kept Germany weak. Meanwhile, in Italy, Mussolini had already ruled for a decade. His speeches echoed through packed squares as he promised Italians a return to greatness, a new Roman age, an empire reborn. Both dictators watched Britain and France control the world. Both felt blocked, trapped, disrespected. So, as the decade darkened, they began drifting toward each other, two aggressive nations searching for an opportunity to break the old order. By 1936, both countries were openly preparing for war. Hitler defied the Treaty of Versailles by rebuilding the German army, navy, and air force at a terrifying speed. Tanks rolled out of factories. Fighter planes screamed across training fields. New weapons appeared every month. Italy marched into Ethiopia, bombing villages, burning farmland, showcasing its hunger for new territories. The League of Nations protested. Britain and France delivered speeches, but no one stopped them. And the dictators noticed. If the world wouldn't punish aggression, then aggression would shape the world. In October 1936, Hitler and Mussolini formalized their growing friendship. The agreement was simple. Germany and Italy would support each other politically, economically, and militarily. But it was the name that changed everything. After signing the pact, Mussolini stepped in front of microphones and delivered a chilling declaration. From this day forward, a line is drawn between Rome and Berlin, and around this line all Europe will revolve. This line became known as the Axis, a central pivot around which global power would rotate. The symbolism was bold, arrogant, and frightening. Mussolini believed Britain and France would fade. Hitler believed he would dominate Europe. The world believed war was coming. While Europe braced itself, another storm was rising in the east. Japan, armed with one of the most advanced navies in the world, was expanding aggressively across Asia. It had already invaded Manchuria and was preparing for further conquest. Japan felt boxed in by Western powers, just like Germany and Italy. And in 1940, seeing opportunity in Europe's chaos, it joined their alliance. Now, the Axis wasn't just a European pact, it stretched across half the planet: Rome, Berlin, Tokyo, three nations, united by ambition, anger, and a desire to reshape the world. The term spread fast. Newspapers across the world printed it in bold headlines. Diplomats whispered it with dread. Military planners studied it with urgency. And civilians heard it with fear. For many, Axis came to symbolize aggression, expansion, and a looming global catastrophe. It captured the essence of the alliance in a single, powerful word. They believed the world would revolve around them. What followed is the story the world already knows: a war of fire, a war of destruction, a war that ended with the Axis defeated, their ambitions crushed beneath the combined strength of nations they had underestimated, the Allies. The Axis rose because three nations believed the world had ignored them for too long. They joined forces because they wanted power, territory, and revenge. They believed history was on their side. But in the end, the name Mussolini created, Axis, became a tragic symbol. Instead of rotating the world around their power, they spun themselves into the deadliest war humanity had ever seen. Their ambition reshaped the world, just not in the way they intended.